Hey guys, Kyle Thompson here with eXp Realty, bringing you another monthly market update, and this week we're going to be focusing on apartments. Let's dive right in. Okay, so starting off big picture. Last month we had 51 new listings, 26 new sales. The average list price was $371,292. The average sale price was $360,912. The average sale price to list ratio was 96.8. Average days on market was just shy of 63, and we ended the month with an inventory of 152 units. So let's take a look at what that does for the market conditions. I like to use the monthly supply of inventory method as well as the sales to new list ratio, as I find using both measurements gives a more complete picture of what's going on in the market. With that said, using the monthly supply of inventory method, we came in at 7 months worth of inventory, which puts us into a buyer's market. If we look at the sales to new list ratio instead, we came in at 51%, which puts us pretty well right in the middle of a neutral market. Now, let's take a look at the active inventory last month. In April, new listings fell month over month from 58 down to 51. Sales increased from 23 up to 26, and expireds rose from 3 up to 8 month over month. However, the benchmark price remained relatively flat, rising only $100 from $378,800 to $378,700. Now, let's take a look at the end of month inventory. Last month, we ended the month with an inventory of 205 units, which is the highest this time of year going back to 2016. And currently we're sitting 23% above the trailing 10-year average of 166. If we take a look at new listings instead, we see that so far year to date, there's been 204 new apartment listings, which is pretty well on par with what we had last year, only about 5 units behind where we were at this point in time. And currently we're sitting about 11% above the trailing 10-year average of 184 units. If we look at the sales instead, we see that so far year to date, there's only been 90 units sold, which is the lowest year to date going back to 2017. And currently we're trending about 18% below the trailing 10-year average of 110 units. Now let's jump over and take a look at the sales dashboard, starting off with the average sale price. This table is measuring year over year changes, so a full year over a full year. And when looked at that way, prices are up 3.14%, rising from 392,356 up to 404,681. The areas are a bit of a mixed bag on which ones are going up and which are going down. However, currently the most expensive areas of town for apartments are Dufferin, Juniper, and Westside, with an average sale price ranging from $506,000 up to $537,500, whereas the cheapest areas of town are Dallas, North Kamloops, and Brocklehurst, with an average sale price ranging from $308,000 up to $361,000. Now let's take a look at the average sale to list ratio. All this is a measurement of how much properties are selling on average below the list price. So it's a good proxy for how much negotiating room you have when you are the buyer. With that said, last month we came in at 96.8, rising about 0.8% from the month prior, and we are the highest we've been since June of last year. That means that there's slightly less negotiating room on average when you are the buyer. Now let's take a look at the sales by sub area. This table is measuring full year over full year again, and when looked at that way, sales are down 11.86%, falling from 295 down to 260. The areas are a bit of a mixed bag again, so if you would like to take a closer look at which areas are doing well and which are not, feel free to pause the video. I'm going to move on to average days on market, starting off with the 10-year. So far, year to date, it's taken an average of 77 days for apartments to sell, which is about 8% above the trailing 10-year average of 71. If we look at the trailing 12-month average instead, we see that days on market fell month over month from 71 in March down to 63 in April, and currently we are sitting about 3% below the trailing 12-month average of 65 days. Finally, let's take a look at average days on market by sub area. This table is measuring full year over full year again. And when looked at that way, apartments are taking about 20% longer to sell, rising from 54 in the year prior to 65 in the last year. And currently, the only area of town with an average days on market under 50 is Dufferin, whereas the areas taking the longest to sell are Dallas, Juniper, and Sun Peaks, with an average days on market ranging anywhere from 84 up to 115 days. That's all we have for today. I really hope that you guys are continuing to get value out of these market updates. If you are, consider liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel. And if you ever want anything added to these market updates, or maybe something that needs to be more thoroughly explained, please feel free to leave your comments or suggestions in the comment section below, and I will get to them as soon as I'm able. I appreciate you taking the time, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.